Hey guys, check out this beautiful machine. This 1986 XR600 was dropped off the other day by a local subscriber that reached out to me, seeing if I can get some tune-up work done on this. So he had this thing completely rebuilt. You can see everything is spotless. Basically a nut and bolt restoration. Turned this XR600 into a Supermoto beast. It's got an HRC kit in it. It's got the dual carb setup. He's gone through that, and I think he said he adjusted it on the high end for to richen it up, just to get it to run cleaner up top. It's completely uncorked. It sounds like it's going to be a monster when we get this thing running good. Hopefully we can get it running good for him. So basically, the valves we're thinking are going to need adjusted because the decompression system doesn't seem to be working correctly. He says he can get it to run. It's just a bear to kick over. It's really hard, really high compression right now. It is brand new and tight, so you got to take that in consideration too, but it really shouldn't be that hard to kick. So something's going on with the decompression. Hopefully we can figure that out. Also got this Vapor Speedo here to hook up, and as you can see, there's some fray wires. I got to figure out what goes where. There is some instructions that he gave me with it, so I'm going to kind of thumb through that a little bit, see if I can figure out where this stuff goes, figure it all out, hook it up, and hopefully we can get this thing running good, and I can actually take it up and down the road a little bit for my test ride. Never actually ridden an XR600. I do have the XR650R, so it will be cool to be able to compare the two, you know, being that this has the HRC kit, so it's going to be hopped up. As you can see, the details on this thing are just beautiful. I mean, everything looks new. It'd be a shame to get it dirty. The seat's in perfect shape. I think he said he had to find the foam. Finding the foam was pretty tough, he said, but that's all new. Your seat cover, of course. You can see under here, it's never seen any kind of dirt. I don't think it's really been on the road at all. But yeah, here it is, the beast. So I'm going to get started with the valves. I'm going to get that fuel tank off and the seat out of the way, and we're going to start digging into this. So let's go. Okay, I had to remove the side cover to get to this bolt here. There's also one other one under here that holds the back of the seat on. Make sure my hands are clean before I pull that off. It's perfect seat cover on there. I don't want to get it dirty. An 8mm here. And one on this side too. Can't forget the fuel line. Okay, we got plenty of room to get at these valves. Look how clean all that is. Sheesh. Actually a little dust on there. Plenty of room on that side, plenty of room on this side. And same for the exhaust valves too. You should be able to get to that stuff pretty easily. I do have to get it at top dead center on the compression stroke, so I'm going to remove these caps here next and take the spark plug out too, and we'll get it lined up at top dead center and then start checking the clearances up here. Quite a bit of frayed wires here too underneath. We'll worry about that after we get it running. I'm going to pull this plug next so I can get this thing to turn over a little easier to get it set at top dead center. Get the boot out of the way. And she's running a little rich here. Better than being too lean. All right, coming over to this side, I'm just going to get these timing mark covers off. And we're going to spin this engine over counterclockwise socket on here, and I'll start turning this over. Okay, I got that set at the T mark. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm on the compression stroke and not the exhaust stroke. So I'm gonna take the cap off up top and see if I got any wiggle room on the rocker. Okay, so I must be on the exhaust stroke. So I'm going to do this one more turn, 360 degrees, counterclockwise on the T mark. That should put me at the compression stroke. Okay, now we got a little bit of play in there. Check the other side too, but we are on the compression stroke, so now I can start getting some tolerances on the valves here. Okay, coming around to the other side on the intake, I got play here. And I notice I do not have play here. Something to do with this manual decompression lever is not adjusted right, I think. Because if I pull up on this, if I move this around a little bit, it's going to give me the play I need. So hopefully I can just adjust the decompression cable, and you know, we're gonna check the clearances on the valves, of course, first, but we'll get those set first, and then I'll start messing with this. Hopefully I can adjust this to where we'll make that work again. So yeah, something definitely going on here with the decompression. I just think it's out of adjustment, because right now this is where it would sit with the lever out. You're not pulling on it at all. It's actually putting pressure on the rocker, allowing it to not move at all. And when you pull on it, that's as far as it goes. It's not actually pushing down on the rocker to open that valve up at all to decompress it. So you're kicking it over and you're thinking it should be easier when it's at this spot, but it's actually not doing anything. So I'm going to try adjusting this further once we get the valves, make sure the valves are in spec, and we'll see if that maybe that was all it was. It's just this adjuster right here. See if we can pull back on this a little bit more. Hopefully that's all it is. Okay, according to the book here, we got the intake valve supposed to be at 0.10 millimeters, exhaust tolerance at 0.12 millimeters. So let me get my feeler gauge out. Start with the intake valves here. Got my 0.10 millimeters. And it's always kind of hard to show this on camera because I get my hands in the way all the time, but just looking for a little drag under there. And that's what we got. So there's no play once I have that in there. When I take it out, we got that little bit of movement. So the left side is good. Let's jump around to the right side here. Okay, that one feels about the same too. No play with it in there. When I take it out, I got that movement, so we're good. Okay, intake's good. Let's look at the exhaust. So this one here, this one feels a little loose. I can still move that up and down when I have the feeler gauge in there. I might tighten that one up just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, I'd say right about there is probably good. Make sure that Didn't go too tight. Still got a little play in there, that's good. Yeah, just the right amount of drag there it feels now. Yeah, that's better. All right, jump around to the other side with the decompression mechanism hooked up to it. Since this one I think is being messed up by the decomp lever, I'm gonna just take this out of the equation for right now. Get this removed, and then we will worry about adjusting that once we get it back on. But I wanna make sure that that valve is not to blame before we do anything else. Okay, so that's out of the way. All right. Don't like the way that it's like putting tension on there. It's almost like you need to pull this up. If I let that go, it preloads that and it doesn't let the valve move. I just wedged the handle from this wrench underneath here so that it can't swing all the way back. So when it doesn't allow any movement on the rocker. I don't think that's right. So I'm gonna adjust it while it's in this spot, and then when we put the cable back on, try to adjust it so that it's not completely free on there. So it's just kind of pulling it up, so it's laying it off keeping it off the rocker. And when you actually pull on the cable, it actually pushes down on there, because I'll show you. We were going about this far with it, and it was never actually doing that. It was never actually opening that valve up. So I'm just going to adjust it in this spot to where it's not putting any pressure on it. And let's see what we got. And that feels really good right there. A little play when that's in there, a little play when it's out. So that one feels good. It might have just been the this all along. The other exhaust valve was a little bit loose, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, let's hook this back up, and we're gonna see if we can get it to pull on this enough to where it will open that valve like it's supposed to, because it wasn't doing that before. So looking at the manual, it's calling for 1 to 2 millimeters of free play before this engages. You can see there's way more than 1 to 2 millimeters in there. So this here is going to need to be adjusted almost all the way up to this point, like right about here. And that lock nut, or the arm for the lock nut on the cable, is kind of in a weird spot, so I don't know how that's going to work. Now this bike also has the Kickstarter decompression unit, but that's deleted on this one. So not sure what we'll do with this, but I think this is the problem all along right here. Let's see if I could find a way to get this to stay for now, at least for testing purposes. Then we can decide what we're going to do later. But you can see that cam in there doesn't engage until it's all the way up to here, and we're at top dead center right now, so I know the valve is okay. So just got to figure out something with this, and we'll try kicking it over. Looking at this tab here, it looks like it's tweaked and it's not lining up with the arm here, so I'm going to bend this out this way, because when you put that cable in there, it just kind of, it's off center. It doesn't line up with the cam here on these pullers here. So I'm going to bend this back this way and see if it lines up a little bit better. Just gonna get my channel locks and pull over that way a little bit. Yeah, that looks a lot better. All right, let me get that cable put back in there and see if we can get this to adjust correctly now. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I ended up having to bend it out a little bit further than straight on, just to get it further away from the cam here. And it's kind of adjusted on the far end, but we do have the correct amount of play, it looks like now. Let me show you. If I pull that, and it will open the valve up now. So I'm going to throw the caps back on, put the spark plug back in, and we'll give it a few kicks just to see if it's any easier. While I have this out, I might as well just test for spark just to make sure we're good to go. I didn't knock anything loose or mess anything up. So let's give it a couple kicks here. Yep, I'm seeing spark. Got to be the worst positioning for a spark plug. My XR400 is the same way. It's always a guessing game where that's at when you're trying to put it back in. Alright, let's give it a few kicks by hand here. I got the spark plug in, everything's buttoned up. Let's this is without the lever. Let's see, this is how I was trying to kick it before. It does not want to move. Okay, so I'm going to pull the lever in. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna throw the seat on, fuel tank, side cover, just basically put it back together, and I'm just gonna see if I can get it to fire up. All right, we're gonna give this a couple kicks. I got my boot on. I was kicking it over in my tennis shoes, and when it kicked back, it missed my shin by an inch, so it almost killed me. So the boot's coming on, and we're gonna see if we can get it to fire up. This thing sits up so tall. I gotta use a stand on the left to stand on, so I have full leverage. All right, we got the choke on, reserve, pull that decompression, and you got good. Kickstarter kind of gets stuck on the peg down there, so we can push that in a little bit more. Okay, pop dead center. Down just a little bit past that click. Yeah. Whoa, almost. That's a start. Close. Freak my house out a little bit, but engine sounds nice and quiet. You don't hear any extra chatter for those valves. Some residue burning off on the exhaust. Okay, we got the idle down a little bit. It sounded really good. Very healthy engine. That big gun's loud. We're gonna let this warm up a little more and we'll shut her down. Might be running low on fuel. There wasn't much in here, and I'm on reserve right now, so might run out of gas. It's pretty warmed up, I'd say, by now. I'm going to shut it down and see if it's easy to start when it's hot. Now that I know I can get it to start, I'm going to start trying to clean up some of these wires here. So looking at this is labeled as hot. I didn't measure what's coming out of there just yet, but we're going to take his word for it. That's probably got some juice coming out of there. I noticed this this ground wire is just kind of hanging out. Not sure what that's about. Coming up to the front, we got our Trail Tech system here, which has a series of plugs coming out of it. This one here is not plugged into anything, so I'm not sure what that's for yet. I was looking at the instructions for this. There's one that's for the wheel speed sensor, which I did follow that one. That does go down and that's hooked up. And there's also one for the spark sensor to show that runtime and I guess RPM. I think that takes care of RPM on there once it's lit up. So that's hooked up. So I just got to figure out what this one's for and why these ones are just hanging out. So looking at the instructions here, so like I said, I've got the wheel sensor hooked up, vehicle power, which I think that's not the ignition sensor. So that one, that's the one that's open, ignition power. That'd be that one right there. I don't know if that's needed if you got a battery maybe. Then we got ignition sensor, which is the one that goes down to the spark plug wire. Engine temperature sensor. That's actually probably this one here that's not plugged in anything, because this is just the air-cooled bike. There's no nowhere to hook into the coolant system on this, so that's most likely not going to be used. So this one here, yeah, vehicle power. So that's probably for if you get a battery hooked up, I'm guessing. I'm gonna see if I could look into that a little bit more. I'm not real sure. I've never actually hooked up one of these vapor systems. Then we got the Tusk system on here too, which is basically this cluster of wires. I was looking at it a little bit. These three here are for the light switch. So you got the power coming in, you got high beams, low beams. And I'm gonna hook that into this switch right here, which actually that goes to that switch. I'm going to hook that into the light ballast here. So just got to kind of figure out what goes where, use the wiring diagram from the manual, and try to figure out what some of this stuff is. We got a green wire, like I said, that's spliced into a yellow that is labeled hot, so I'm going to figure out what that's about. Oh yeah, and we do have this up here too. We got a white one that's just kind of dangling. This looks like one of the original wires. I'm pretty sure this cluster here is the original wiring harness for this thing. Yeah, that white one goes back to the regulator, I believe. There's a white. I was looking at the wiring diagram. It goes from white and yellow, and then somewhere in here it just goes directly to white. So that's most likely what that is. I'm gonna guess. I wonder if it could be coming from the. No, I was gonna say maybe it was coming from the stator itself too, which we got up here and over to this plug right here. But I'll try to figure that out here. Let me get a look at the wiring diagram. All right, might as well start with just hooking up the ballast here to the switch, and we're gonna do that with these three wires right here. So I got to figure out which one is for high beam, low beam on here, and just kind of splice these in together and get that part out of the way at least. So I'm going to use the black one here. Obviously is for the ground, which I'm going to run down to that loose one that we had underneath the fuel tank. So we're going to use that as the ground. I'm just going to kind of mock this up for now and we'll get it cleaner. The green is going to be for the low beam. That's going to be the white wire coming off the switch. And then the blue one is going to go to the yellow wire on the ballast, and that is for the high beams. So I'll get these crimped down. And then we have to have a live wire, which I'm assuming is going to be this one. I still got to measure what the output is on this, but this is going to go to the black wire on the TUS kit. That's going to go to the switch. So the switch can toggle in between on, off, and then basically the low beam, high beam, on, off. Okay, just gonna hook up the ground on the other end, and just make sure we got enough juice coming out of this hot wire to run into the black wire on the TUS kit to give power to the light. Just gonna hook up that ground wire here. Get this wire tucked up and hidden. Okay, I'm gonna get this thing fired up and see what kind of voltage we got coming out of this wire that's labeled hot. It looks like it runs down to the connector here that goes to the stator generator, following it down to these wires here. So it comes up here and splits off, so I'm thinking it's using one of those. It's a green one. It goes into the yellow, like I said. So we're gonna get it started up, measure it, and then I'll probably end up using that if it's got enough to power this headlight. Just plug it in right here. Okay, I got it set on AC voltage. Let's see how much we get out of here. This yellow wire, green to yellow, I should say. Alright, so 9.5, 9.7. Be enough to power a bulb up. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to go from the hot wire to the black wire that goes into the switch, and that will give power to high and low beams on the switch itself, and also allow us to turn that light off if we want. All right, let's test this out. So right now I'm off. Switch that to low beams. We're good there. Let me switch to the high beams. We're good there. Sweet. Okay, we got a working headlight. Really just all that's left is figuring out what to do with this wire, which I believe is for the bike power to probably give this juice too. Because I think right now it's probably just running off the internal battery that's on there. And I do have some extra live wires here, so I'm going to assume that's where that goes, but I'm going to tape those off for now and just do a little more research and come back to that. But I think I'm going to try to take this up and down the road right now, actually. So I'm going to get the seat on and the side covers, and let's get this outside. All right, we got this monster outside. I'm going to put a little bit of fuel in there and kick her over, get her running, and we're going to go for a little ride. I'm on the short side, so I'm going to use this to prop myself up when I'm kicking it. Still kind of warm, so I'm not even going to choke it. See if we can get this to go. Goes. We're going to take it easy, still breaking in, nice and warmed up. Hopefully I don't stall it. I'll find a curb to stand on to kick it. Oh wow, yeah, this thing sits up tall. Turn signal. Oh yeah, we do. backfiring on deceleration. So I don't think it's a lean condition. Dual carb bike that I've ever dealt with. Yeah. As soon as you go past half. Stumbled a little bit there. Down low is perfectly fine. It's just as soon as you get past half is when it breaks up. So I think the high end side of the carb needs adjusted. Yeah, my guess is it's running rich. Back in the garage and see what we got to do next with this. All right, we got her back into the workshop here. Just got to figure out what's going on with that carburetor. I'm going to tear into that here next on the next video. I've never done dual carb before. Doesn't sound like it's too bad though, but it really sounds like it's just almost too rich once you hit the halfway point on the throttle. That's when this carb on the right here I think takes over, is on the half throttle and above. So we're going to dig into that a little bit, see if we can figure out what's going on there. I do have some extra jets that came with this. So we're going to see what we got here, assess what we got inside here, and try to make the proper adjustments. So I'm probably also going to drain the oil on this thing since it's still breaking in after we get another heat cycle on it. We got a screen filter in here to check, and also the paper filter here. We'll just replace that. But that's pretty much it, I think. After that, we got the lighting sorted. And hopefully I can get this running good, give it back to the owner, and he can enjoy it. So be on the lookout for that video, guys. If you're not a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps my channel grow, along with likes and comments. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next video.